Get ready for the next pandemic. Does this mean lockdowns are coming again? Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a great day. The Liberals just announced that they are sending more of our tax money abroad, this time to fight the Monkey POX virus. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization is calling it a World Health Emergency. Let's take a look at some CTV footage, and then we'll discuss it.
The deadly virus plaguing parts of Africa called M-POX will make its way to Canada. That's the warning from some health experts tonight. Canada has said it is prepared for the fight with vaccines ready, but there are also calls for better vaccine distribution globally. CTV's Kamal Kramali reports.
The explosion of deadly M-POX cases in Central Africa has doctors in Canada sending out a warning.
I think there's a very high risk that clade 1 M-POX will be seen here in Canada.
The new strain of the virus will almost certainly make its way to Canada.
Because Canada is one of the most highly traveled, high-income societies on Earth, we often are a site where diseases like this can then be the next site of spread.
The newer M-POX variant, called clade 1, surging in the Democratic Republic of Congo, killing more than 500 people, and now spreading to neighboring nations, while other countries in the continent are already dealing with the clade 2 variant that was dominant last year. Clade 1 has also been most recently detected in Sweden and Pakistan. In Canada, no cases of the newer, deadlier clade 1 variant so far, but this year alone, there have been over 160 cases of the milder clade 2 variant that spread earlier, including over 90 in Toronto.
And we actually did a fairly good job of containing it. But that said, it wasn't good enough to eradicate it, and that outbreak is still ongoing.
If the new clade 1 variant comes to our doorstep, Health Canada says it's ready for the fight with an arsenal of vaccines. But experts warn Ottawa needs to be more proactive in keeping track of diseases before they arrive to Canada.
The surveillance capacity within the country is not where it needs to be. This will likely happen to us again in the future. We need to make sure that we continue to be well prepared.
And that includes stopping it in its tracks by sending Canada's vaccines to countries where the outbreak is worse. While the United States has committed to sending 50,000 vaccines to Central Africa, Canada has not yet made any promises, only saying it's looking at all options for Canadian engagement.
If you've been following my channel at all, you probably know that I don't put a lot of trust in the Liberal government. I, like so many other people in Canada, submitted to the government demands during the last World Health Emergency, only to question later if it was really the right thing to do. The more we find out about the negative effects of the last inoculations, the more we wonder if it was an evil fraud perpetrated on us, or worse still, maybe it was a nefarious social and scientific experiment. During the last few years, we've discovered that the difference between conspiracy theory and reality is a matter of time, roughly 6 months to 2 years. I've often wondered, and I'd really like to know, just how many people who work for Big Pharma actually got the inoculation. In fact, since Justin Trudeau kept on getting sick, I'm wondering if he actually got the inoculation himself. Because if he did, he's living proof that it didn't work. But maybe that's just my suspicious mind working overtime. And still, today, it's commonplace to see people wearing masks, even though it's been shown that they were completely ineffective. And now we're told we have to worry about a new health threat, a new World Health Emergency. Fortunately for me, I live a very traditional lifestyle, and the infections of this new threat seem to be focused on groups that live, well, quite frankly, a non-traditional lifestyle. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's where the infections tend to be focused. But there are reports that that's changing. Up until now, the spread of monkeypox was said to be through personal bodily contact, mainly within a certain community. But there are new reports, some of which are contradictory, that the spread of monkeypox may be aerosol. But here's the question. With how the government handled the last World Health Emergency, how can we trust what they say and do now? Remember how the Trudeau government sent millions of dollars of supplies and equipment to China at the beginning of the last World Health Emergency? And then they put us into a 2-week lockdown in order to flatten the curve, and that turned into a couple of years, which devastated our economy. It seems to me like we keep on making the same mistakes over and over and over again. In the 1950s, Thalidomide, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, was prescribed to pregnant women to counter the effects of morning sickness, only later to be found to have caused birth defects, and then it was banned. And that was primarily because that drug had not been properly tested. We assume that the government and Big Pharma learned from their mistakes. But did they? It turns out that we were probably lied to about the safety of the last inoculation and the fact that we could get out of lockdown and return to normal life if we just received that inoculation. Of course, that didn't pan out. We were still locked down even after we received the 2 doses. And later came reports of the injuries associated to the inoculations and the lingering health effects. So my question is, what is the International Council of Communist Dictators, aka the World Health Organization, the United Nations, and the WEF, the World Economic Forum, what are they going to do to us next? Is monkeypox the next vehicle that they're going to use to control our lives even more than what they have in the past? What sinister plan are they cooking up for us? And how do they really expect us to trust them? Personally, I don't think I can ever trust them again, but I do know that there are many out there, probably the majority of people, who do trust them. And that's the sad part, because when the majority of people trust these organizations, these large international organizations that are not elected, it gives them more power over us. And I, for one, think that's quite dangerous. I'm just wondering, why is this coming about now? We're about to see an election in the United States, and then in another year, an election in Canada. There's been all sorts of conspiracy theories about how the last election in the United States turned out and what effect the World Health Emergency had on those elections. Again, I have a suspicious mind, but I'm wondering just what do they have in store for us this time? Is this the next step in a sinister plan to control us all and bring us all under communist rule? But that's just my opinion. I'd love to know what you have to say. Put your comments down below. And while you're at it, please like this video, share with your friends and on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. And by the way, I still have a link in the description to a petition that I started several months ago, encouraging Mary Simon, the Governor General, to dissolve Parliament and call an early election. If you think that would interest you, please follow that link and sign that petition. Also, I have another channel, Cavalryman USA, where I post videos on US politics. If you think you'd be interested in that, there's also a link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.